Hi, this is Leanne from Global Media Networks with the Business Roundup for the week. Now, we're just taking a look at what happened last week. We see that the credit given to private businesses from banks, commercial banks fell to 9.8 billion rupees in September 2012, and the lowest since 2009, with dollar-dominated loans contracting, though the rupee book was still growing. Now, we see that People's Finance PLC has been placed on rating watch positive by Fitch Ratings, putting it on track to be upgraded by 2 levels to A once a merger with its parent People's Leasing and Finance PLC is completed. SoftLogic Holdings PLC is boosting its profitable retail business via an exclusive deal with world-renowned brand Mothercare UK. Now, the diversified blue chip launched a mega 7,500 square feet 3-level UK-style Mothercare showroom and affiliated brand early learning center at the number 7 Aridimea Marvel, number 5. We also see the SoftLogic Holdings will soon launch the world's best-selling Apple brand of products via its showrooms during the upcoming season. Recently, the company introduced its own laptop brand Maximo, which has had a successful launch. And we also see the Ceylon Bank PLC, which came under the state stewardship following a run, is trying to recover 418 million rupees loaned to a public-private partnership involving an Australian-based party. It was auctioning equipment from Lanka Paper Company Private Limited to recover a defaulted loan and an interest at 31%. People's Leasing and Finance will sell 2 billion rupees of commercial paper with a tenor of up to an year, which has been given an F1 positive short-term rating by Fitch Ratings. The conversion of Sri Lanka's People's Leasing and Finance into a licensed finance company would impose a high regulatory capital charge, but its B positive stable rating would remain unchanged, say Standards & Poor's. Now, a new commercial bank promoted by Cargill's group will seek a 3 billion rupees through a private placement of shares in January 2013. We also saw last week that Sri Lanka's treasury bills yields edged up across maturities within the 3 months rate, moving up 5 basis points to a 10.79% at Wednesday's auction. Now, the 6-month yield rose 2 basis points to 12.09%, and the 12-month yield rose 4 basis points to 12.85%. Now, the State Debt Office, which is a unit of the central bank, said 18 billion rupees in bills were offered for rollover and 23 billion rupees in bids were accepted from the market. The state sold 3.6 billion rupees in 3 months bills and 11.5 billion rupees in 6 months bills and 8.4 billion rupees in 12 months bills. On the other hand, we also see that containers handled in Sri Lanka's ports fell 3.3% to 329,199 in September 2012 from a year earlier, with domestic containers falling 8.3% to 86,273 amid an economic slowdown, while transshipment volumes also fell. Now, in September, 79,106 domestic containers were handled, down 8.3% to 7,167 20-foot equivalent units. Now, in August, also domestic volumes fell 9.8%. Year-to-date volumes were still up by 1.4% to 776,557. Now, bulk cargo handled was down 1.2% to 5.53 million metric tons. But from January to September, volumes were up 1.6% to 49.04 million metric tons. On the other hand, we also see Sunshine Holdings, which has interests in tea and palm oil said it was in talks with Pyramid Wilmar Private Limited, the Colombo-based unit of 2 Singaporean firms, to use the expertise and distribution chains. Fitch Ratings has confirmed a BBB positive rating for Singa Finance Lanka PLC with a stable outlook based on an 80% holding and strong links with its parent Singa Sri Lanka PLC, which is rated A with a stable outlook. Now, in 2012, Singa Finance Lanka's portfolio has expanded 53% with vehicle financing, 79.1% the total, with consumer finance loans at 18.4% of the total. It's non-performing loans overdue for 3 months had risen to 2.7% in the first half of 2013 financial year, up from 1.7% at the end of 2012 financial year. We also see that Fitch Ratings has downgraded Sri Lanka's HDFC Bank, a mortgage lender, by one level to BBB, as its profits came under pressure from rising interest rates. Now, directors of Galadari Hotels PLC approved the conversion of the loan owned by Galadari to Galadari Brothers Company, amounting to 7.16 billion Sri Lankan rupees, to equity by way of a private placement of shares at a price of 22 rupees 50 cents per ordinary voting share. And we also see that Single Finance entered into 2 agreements on the 30th of November 2012 with FNO in order to obtain a $10 million loan to the company. Now, we see $6 million will be dispersed as a senior facility agreement within the next 2-3 weeks, whilst the remaining $4 million will be issued as an unsecured convertible subordinated loan and will be dispersed upon the approval of the Colombo Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the Hikkaru Beach Resort Limited IPO basis of allotment, the unit trust category received no applications. Retail category up to about 5,000 allot in full, and a total of 154,500 shares will be allotted accordingly. A non-retail category above 5,100, that is allot about 92.84% of the shares applied for, and a total of 5,602,890 shares will be allotted accordingly. We also see that the Board of Directors of Ceylon Bank has decided to proceed with the public issue of a 10 million unsecured subordinated redeemable debentures of the par value of 100 rupees each, aggregating to the value of 1 billion rupees, with an opinion to issue a further 10 million of the said debentures in the event of an oversubscription. The debentures will carry 3 options as follows, which is the fixed interest payable annually or monthly at a floating rate of interest payable annually. We also see Royal Ceramics Lanka last week figured among the prestigious Forbes Asia Best and a Billion awards, and topped up the achievement by securing a special award for the best comeback performance by a company as well. Lanka Holdings was also selected by Forbes Asia for this great honor at the award ceremony. HNB was recognized as the Bank of the Year 2012 in Sri Lanka by the prestigious UK-based The Banker magazine at a ceremony held in the Intercontinental Park Lane Hotel, London recently. And we also see that according to a new World Bank report, officially recorded remittance flows to developing countries are estimated to reach upon $6 billion in 2012, a growth of 6.5% over the previous year. Now, the top recipients of the migrant remittances in 2012 are India at $70 billion, China at $66 billion, the Philippines at $24 billion, Mexico at $24 billion again, and Nigeria at $21 billion. Sri Lanka is at the 11th place with the estimation of $6.5 billion. Now, consumer prices in Sri Lanka's capital Colombo rose 9.5% in November 2012 from a year earlier, accelerating from an 8.9% a month earlier. Data from the State Statistics Office showed. Also, taking a look at some market news for last week, just to see how the market had performed last week, we see that the week started on a very dull note, with hardly any activity was witnessed except for John Hills, while slight amount of interest was witnessed in SML. On Tuesday, activity was boosted with the crossings took place pertaining to JK Edge and Spain, with substantial foreign investor participation. Now, indices continued to slide, with most of the crossings were traded at a discounted price. Now, however, On Thursday, a slight recovery in indices was witnessed, with prices of big cap counters recovering. Indices again dropped on Friday with subdued local buying pressure. We see 10 crossings were recorded during the week, and JKH recorded 6 crossings of 3 million shares at 211 rupees 80 cents, while other crossing makers were Spain, Cargo, and Tokyo. Crossings contributed around 44% to the market turnover during the week. A diversified sector contributed mostly to the market turnover, while landed property sector was the best sector index gainer with a gain of 1.53%. And Nest contributed 4.17 points to the ASPI, while Dialogue, LOLC Distilleries, and SLT contributed 2.17, 2.10, 1.95, and 1.88 points respectively. JKH's share price reduction hindered the ASPI growth by dragging 6.65 points down. We also see that the foreign investors continued to enjoy accumulating stocks in the undervalued market. However, local retail investor participation has not been triggered yet, while local high net worth investors and institutional investors also seem to be waiting in the sidelines. Treasury bills rates picked up slightly, while currency rates stayed intact, and inflation picked up slightly to 9.5%, as we discussed in November, on an year-on-year basis, or from 8.9% in the previous month, amidst increase in prices. Now, with that, I round up the news for the week, and thank you very much for listening, and have a good week.